What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Altknots for the second month of our Stitch and Scream crochet along blanket. Today we have the big reveal of our stitch that we're going to be working on together. So if you do not have a warm beverage yet, go grab that. I have my hazelnut latte. Cheers, let's get into it. The stitch that we are going to be working on is the herringbone half double crochet. I adore the half double crochet because it's something that I can work up really quickly, and so it's a stitch that I go back to all the time. Adding this little bit of an option and having this really pretty knot in the front, it just spices it up for me. This stitch does have a little give to it, but not a lot. Before you and I start working on this stitch, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a deep breath and we're gonna relax, maybe roll your shoulders back a couple of times, because it is very easy to get super tight tension with this stitch. Once you start going a couple of rows into it, you're gonna get comfortable with it and the tension is gonna kind of mellow out. But for the first couple of rows, naturally, with me anyways, I wanted to make my tension as tight as absolutely possible. Just be aware of that when you get into it. It's not meant to like alarm you. I'm just saying that that's the experience that I had. Basically, row number 3, I was able to throw in a couple of movies and just crochet my entire square. Let's do a little recap about the blanket in and of itself, this entire project, because it's been a whole month since we've met up and chit-chat about this. We're doing one square every single month. We are learning a new stitch, so we're gonna end up with 12 squares. Every single square is gonna be 23 by 23 inches. It is not gonna be an exact square, but it's meant to be like that. So everything's gonna seem a little bit off, but when it's all put together, it's gonna look fantastic. For the layout, it's gonna end up being 4 squares across, 3 squares down, so 92 inches across and 69 inches in length. It's going to be a big blanket. Like, it is meant to be one that you can share if you want to, or just wrap yourself up in all of the coziness. Each square ends up using around 300 yards. Some stitches end up using a little more, some use a little bit less, but in general, that's what you're gonna expect from each square. The entire yarn that you're gonna need for this project is 3,600 yards of yarn. This is an excellent project as a stash buster if you want to go ahead and dig through, find all of the extra yarn that you have laying around and make up all these squares. I am going to be using 2 colors. This one right here, the red, which is called pomegranate, and the other color that I'm using is a black yarn called obsidian. The type of yarn that I'm using is a number 4 medium worsted weight. This is the Wander 100% acrylic from Furls Crochet, one of my all-time favorite blanket yarns because it's really easy to take care of, and it has a beautiful sheen. It's super soft and cozy, and it holds up really well. So that's what I'm using, but again, feel free to use whatever yarn you want. The size of the hook that we're going to be using for the entire project, so every single square, is a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. So even though every stitch is different, the hook is going to remain the same for the entire project. Another thing that's handy is to have a yarn bowl. That way you can put your entire project in here. So every single month you know exactly where it's at. You don't have to like search around for it. It just has a home right here. Get in there. Thank you very much. And I even have it in one space in my yarn dungeon too. So even when I'm not working on it throughout the month, all my materials are in one spot. I mean, we're doing this for the entire year of 2023. It needs to have its own little area. A tape measure, which is pretty important for when you're starting out your square. You want to make sure that it's at 23 inches, and especially just getting those first couple of rows, laying this out at 23 inches and kind of measuring every single row to make sure the tension is not, you know, really tight or really big. It's just like right where it needs to be. A pair of scissors, which this one is just again in here permanently. I don't use it for anything else. And a stitch counter of some sort. This project in and of itself is just designed for us to simply explore some stitches that maybe you're not super familiar with or have never heard of, and we're making big squares. So by the end of the month, you're gonna have played around with this stitch for quite a while to decide if you enjoy the stitch, maybe you want to make it into another project, a cardigan, some mittens, a scarf, something like that. But at the core of it, it's just designed to be fun and have an opportunity to crochet something together as a Ghoul Squad. We do have a movie that we're going to be watching since it is a Stitch and Scream project. February 15th, which is a Wednesday, come back to the Yarn Dungeon at 7 p.m. Central live. Together, going to be stitching up our square and watching The Corpse Bride. This is one of my absolute favorite movies to watch. I love the music. I love the world that's created. And also it's perfect timing. It's the day after Halloween. I just feel like the vibes fit up really well. If you have never seen the Corpse Bride, make sure that you do check it out. Watch the trailer, see if it's something that you're interested in. And if you don't want to watch it along with the rest of the Ghoul Squad, still feel free to comment to the live. The comments will be going. We can all chit chat together. Make sure if you haven't printed this out, the Stitch and Scream badge collecting chart. All of this can be found on my blog. So here is a glimpse of February's badge. January's badge is on my blog as well. So if you missed that one, you can definitely still find that. They won't disappear after every single month, but if you're wanting to collect them as they come along, make sure you print this out, and then you can print the badge on a paper, or what I've been doing is printing them off on a sticky paper, making my own sticker, and then checking off every single month on here. I do have a hashtag Stitch and Scream and hashtag altknots. You can use either or both if you want to share them on all the social medias. I've seen so many squares already, especially on my Insta, been tagged in the Stitch and Scream blanket. I just need to stop real quick and say thank you so much to every single ghoul that has joined this crochet along so far, and we're only in February. When I put this all together, there's a lot of moving parts that goes into a crochet along. Plus, you know, I have the whole stickers and everything like that because that's just me. I like to make things extra. It just seems fun to me, but it's not very much of a crochet along if I'm the only one excited about it. There have been so many ghouls that has joined this project so far, so I just want to say thank you again. I appreciate every single one of you and have been loving seeing your progress. Let's talk a little bit about the tutorial. So it is already out. You can go ahead and click on that and start working it up today if you want to. Like, why not? It's the first day. Let's get in on this. I go through a couple of rows in its entirety. At normal speed, there is some lovely lo-fi music going on in the background, some music that I like to listen to myself when I'm learning new stitches. If you don't feel like you need all that extra time in between, or you just want to get to how to do the stitch, go ahead and fast forward. Absolutely. However, you can also use it as a little bit of body doubling if you want to just set this up and leave it on loop. However you learn best, the tutorial is there for you to use in whatever direction that you need. It is a good idea to like or favorite that video because sometimes what happens is we get going on a square, get really excited at the beginning of the month, and then we get another project in our life. I start many projects all the time and forget about the ones that I start at the beginning of the month. So favoriting and saving it is a fantastic idea. That way, when it comes down to the last couple of weeks or a couple of days, in my case, you can go back to it and kind of refresh a little bit on the stitch and then finish out whatever you need for the square. All right, ghouls, so that is everything that you need to know for the second square in our Stitch and Scream crochet along blanket for 2023. If you're excited, let me know. Send me a pumpkin emoji, a bat emoji, black heart, anything like that down below so I know that you're excited, as well as mark Wednesday, February 15th on your calendar, 7 p.m. Central. Come on back. We're going to be live watching Corpse Bride and working on our square together. But for now, thank you for joining this project with me for the entire year. I'm incredibly excited. I know I've said that so many times, but I'm just really excited about this project. So cheers for now, and I will see you in my next video.